Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast. I am so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, I just want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business, your life, your marketing, help you stay social, and learn a little bit more about other businesses. Because after all, don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? I know I do. And I am so stoked to have a wonderful colleague of mine, Bill Krasnor, with me. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
I would love you to tell my audience a little bit about yourself, about your business, and what you do.
Okay, so I am a mortgage broker. So I own a company. We have a number of originators, and what a mortgage broker does is we work with many, many different banks. And if a borrower comes to us to either buy a house or refinance the house that they already own, we talk to that client about their income, assets, loan to value, and credit scores, and we match them with the best lender that has the best rates for what they're looking for. There are some lenders that want jumbo loans. There's other lenders that want conforming loans, others that want fixed rates or adjustable rates. And each bank has a different personality, and I need to match that with the best borrower, the best bank that suits each borrower's needs. And that's what our specialty is.
And how long have you been doing this for?
I joined the company in May of 2003, and before that, I was a real estate attorney in New York and Connecticut, and my clients love the big picture perspective I bring to giving them advice. I don't give legal advice at all. What I do is I give my clients the questions to ask their attorneys or their realtors, but because of my big picture experience of being in the trenches, negotiating purchase contracts and helping clients at the closing table with their financing, and I've seen a lot because of that. It really does give my clients much better hand-holding skills, and that's one of the things I really excel at is holding hands throughout the process, and I'm able to really give them the best advice. I'm available evenings and weekends. My office number goes to my cell as evenings and weekends.
So as a consumer, and if I'm coming to you, what are some important questions that I should ask if I want to work with you?
Okay. Questions they should ask me is, well, how many lenders do you work with? You know, if I'm interested in this product, do you have an answer for me? I mean, the questions that I always ask my clients is, how long do you expect to be in the home for that you're expecting, that you're refinancing or purchasing? And from that information, I can help guide them to the program that best suits their needs. If they say, a lot of clients, when they first come to me, they say, I want a 30-year fixed. But then I say, well, how long are you going to be in the property for? And they say, well, no more than 7 years. And then maybe depending on what rates are at the time, because rates have increased recently, sometimes an adjustable is the better way to go. We have a 10-year adjustable as well as a 15-1 adjustable, and those rates are lower than 30-year fixed. So the questions that a consumer would ask is, well, what programs do you offer? If I'm interested in X, what are your suggestions for me?
Okay. And I was thinking about this because, I always hear, your testimonies from other people. I hear, what a great job you do. I hear all this stuff. And I want to know what you would say separates you from other mortgage brokers. What makes you so good at what you do? What separates you?
Well, what separates us as a company is that each mortgage company is sort of contracted with our lenders on how much our commission will be. And that's the way all mortgage brokers work. And we are at the lowest of the low of what is allowable for us to do that. And if you're going with other mortgage companies, they most likely are much higher on the scale. And if they're making a higher percentage of the loan amount in commission, then that translates to higher rates that they offer their consumers. So if we're at the lowest possible that we can contract with our banks for, we're giving the lowest rates possible. I mean, it is really, it's a commodity business in the sense that people want to go with the lowest rates, but at the same time, they want to go with someone who will give them the best advice and the best handholding, the best experience. And that's definitely me because of my prior experience, but it's also, and because I've been doing this since May of 2003, and before that, a real estate attorney. But clients really want to know that they're going to be, that the bank that we're putting them with is going to be able to close on time at the rate we promised. So they don't want to invest a month of their time in going with a bank or going with a broker only to have the bank say, we're not going to do the loan. And we are very, very good at knowing after a 20-minute conversation of knowing whether the deal is going to go through, knowing which bank is most appropriate for that client. And that's really our strength and sets us apart, is that, and it's interesting because if you we've talked to people, to banks, and they say that 50% of the retail applicants get approved. And I'd say with us, it's over 96% of the loans we submit to banks get approved. And only when it doesn't is because there's something unforeseen that happens that causes a problem. But it is odd that if you go retail with banks, that they only 50% of those applications get approved. Wow, so the people that people are dealing with at the banks aren't as qualified and aren't as experienced as us here at Strategy Mortgage.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It seems like you also, I feel like you have this sort of all streamlined a little bit. You've been doing it for such a long time that you probably have a relationship with some of these banks, a really good relationship with some of these banks, I would assume. Is that the case?
Absolutely. But it's also our staff here that makes the difference. I mean, the way that we work is the loan officer, whether it be me or one of my other loan officers, what we really do is we talk to the client, we see if they qualify, and we lock them into the right program and help them and explain their disclosures. So we're really the contact between the client. But then I have an underwriter here at Strategy Mortgage who really is the one that looks at all the documentation. So when a documentation comes into me, I print it or hand off the PDFs to my underwriter, and she's the one who gets the documents really to the bank and approved. And so it is specialization of what we're best at. I'm best at dealing with clients, same with the other loan originators, working with clients, working with banks, but it really is our underwriter who works with the nitty-gritty of the tax returns and self-employed borrowers. That's the strength of Strategy Mortgage as well. They say, oh, yeah, we're hard to deal with because we're self-employed borrowers. Well, that's really one of our strengths is most of our borrowers, probably over 50%, are self-employed business owners.
Right. Now, Strategy Mortgage this is your company, is that correct?
Yes. I purchased it in late 2017.
And it's a company. It wasn't a franchise beforehand. It was,
we have one office in Greenwich, Connecticut, but we do work in New York, Connecticut, Florida, and Massachusetts. We advertise in Connecticut. We don't advertise in other states, but we do all our work in other states via referrals and word of mouth from past clients. And so we do a good amount in New York, and then we help our clients buy summer homes and moves to other states such as Massachusetts and Florida.
Right. Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit because of a lot of people on this call are business owners, and right. You own your own business. What would you say you enjoy most about you're owning your own business?
I enjoy most is that, we're a very heavily regulated business, and our business is we're totally consumer focused versus business to business focused. So our whole business is coming from referrals from attorneys and realtors and past clients. So what is so rewarding to me is when I help people with the biggest transaction of their life. It's selling, buying their starter home, the first home, helping first-time home buyers, or selling that starter home and buying the home that they'll be in for the next 20 years, or selling that home and downsizing to Florida or someplace else. So it's really that hand-holding for those clients, helping them through the biggest transaction of their life, helping them reduce the monthly expenses for their house, for the principal interest tax. I mean, that's really so rewarding. When I can talk to a client and say, by doing this, you will lower your monthly expenses by $560 a month. That's, and I joke around with the client, that's a lot of dinners with a wife. That's great. This is real money. And they're like, yes, it really, and it's great. I mean, that's really, really rewarding.
Absolutely. I always like to talk about the good things, but sometimes I like to talk about the bad things, because everybody thinks it's some kind of amazing dream that you open up your shop, the place where you want to work, or the company, or whatever you're going to do. And you think it's going to be just, as soon as I put up a website, I'm going to make money. What would you say has been your biggest challenge of owning your own business?
Right. I think it's challenging to keep it up, keep the pace up the whole time, in the sense that, we've got to always be closing. And so for me to be closing 60 days from now, I've got to be networking and socializing and publicizing and working with thanking the clients that just closed and ask them to leave reviews on Google. I've got to do that now, so I get the business, the new clients referred to me now, so that they can close 60 days from now. So it's not only dealing with the clients today who I'm locking in and beginning the process with, but it's after approval, working on the clients with conditions, and then helping the clients really get to the closing table, explaining the pre-closing procedure. And it's doing all of these things all at the same time. You can't say today, all I'm going to work on is new business. You can't say today, all I'm going to work on is conditions. You got to do everything all the time, so that I'm closing today, locking new business today, clearing conditions today, and doing that every day. And it's hard to take vacations. Very often I'm taking my laptop with me and talking with clients, and they don't know the difference, whether I'm in Maine or at home or at the office. And so that's a tough part of the business. As a business owner, you always want to look like and be as if you're fully on and fully able to help.
Wow. Not everybody says that. I've talked to tons of entrepreneurs, and I'm really impressed with your work ethic, I should say. So I want to thank you for coming on. I think that you just have, here's the deal for everyone out there. If you're thinking about buying a home, or you want to refinance, Bill's your guy. He really is. And so what I would love you to do, Bill, right now, is just say how they can get a hold of you. I'll also put your website, in my social media posts and stuff like that.
Right. My email address is bill@strategymortgage.com. But the best way to start out is just give me a call. I'm at my desk all the time. I answer all my calls, even if it's after hours on weekends. It forwards to my cell. My direct line is 203-618-4141. And that's just call, introduce yourself, and say you saw me on the podcast, and tell me about what you're looking to do, whether it be purchase a new home or refinance.
That's awesome. And thanks again. And until next week, I'll see everyone soon.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram @BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.